But the most interesting one, I think, is that we've done is digital credit. And the idea of digital credit is, can you give a bank account to 1 billion people that pays them 10% without volatility? Who wants that?
Everybody.
Everyone wants that.
Everybody wants that.
Who wants a bank account that pays them 10%? Everybody. What's your bank account pay you now? Nothing. What's the money market pay you right now? 3%. After tax, 2%. Okay, what's the Bitcoin performance for the past 5 years? 39%. Ever since we got in this business, Bitcoin has appreciated 39% a year ARR, more than double the S&P. Okay, so why don't 1 billion people just all buy Bitcoin? It's because the volatility is 40. It's 40 times the volatility of a money market. They can't stand the volatility, right? It's too scary. The performance is fine, but you cannot get anybody to agree. Even sophisticated financiers will not agree to buy Bitcoin. It takes 1,000 hours of discussion to sell an asset appreciating 40% a year with a volatility of 40.
Hold on. So the win-win here is you're the sponge of volatility for the people who want to get a better interest rate than they'll get with their bank.
Let's just say I want the 40%, and I'll take the 40% volatility, and I'll give you 10%. And I will strip away the risk, strip away the volatility, over-collateralize the instrument. You have $1 million. You can either buy $1 million of Bitcoin and get on a roller coaster. By the way, if your time horizon is 10 years, I would tell you make a lot more money that way.
Get on the roller coaster.
But you're going to have to go without anything for 4 years, right? So do you want a capital asset with no cash flows, massive volatility, and you got to have a time horizon of 4 to 10 years? Or do you want to give me the $1 million? I just give you 10% a year, and I will peg the principal to $100 to par. So the volatility falls to 2 or 1 or whatever the number is, but closer to a money market, and you collect. Right now, STRC pays 11.5%. And the beauty of that instrument is it's a return of capital dividend. So it's a tax-deferred dividend. So what we have done and what we've discovered is the market for the first 11% of the return is 100x larger than the market for all 40%. If you walk down the street and ask 100 people, do you want a bank account that pays you 10 or 11%? It's like everybody.
Yeah.
And if you say, would you like a highly volatile crypto asset that's a 40 vol that'll probably return you 30% or more over the next decade, but there are no cash flows and you're going to have dramatic swings and you can't count on paying any bills within the next 2 or 3 years. Well, that number is like less than 5, maybe 2. And if you convince, it'll take you 100 hours, and then they will put a small portion of their capital in. So it's a much more difficult sell. But let me say it a different way, Peter. Like, how many people want unlimited free electricity?
Everybody.
And how many people want to run a nuclear reactor in their backyard?
Not very many.
So we're running a crypto reactor, right? What we discovered is the real unlock is we'll just run the crypto reactor. We've invested $60 billion in a crypto reactor. Now we can turn around. If we have $60 billion of capital, if we have that much equity, for every dollar of equity, you can sell 10 to 20 cents of credit. So we can create $10 billion to $20 billion a year worth of a high yield bank account backed by Bitcoin. And that will grow 30 to 50% a year. And so the people that want that are retirees, 20-something. The truth of the matter is the only security that I've ever created that I would ever recommend to friends and family is STRC. Like to my brother, to 20-somethings, to retirees. They're like, well, what should I buy? The Bitcoin, or should I buy MSTR, or should I buy STRF or STRD? I'm like, or convertible bonds. Like, those are all good investments if you're a professional investor, but you have to have a 4 to 10 year time horizon, and they're very sophisticated. And you have to understand delta and duration and liquidity and the like, and you might even have to be a qualified institutional investor. It's illegal for a retail investor to buy a convertible bond, right? So they're all complicated, but let me give you this simple one. This one, it's designed to trade around 100, and if it falls below 100, the company's going to use all of its capital, all of its efforts to get it back to 100. Okay. And so it's the simplest possible. It's a 15-second sales pitch,
But is there risk? It has to be some risk.
It's 5x over collateralized by Bitcoin. So the risk is Bitcoin goes through zero tomorrow forever.
Forever, yeah.
Like it's the risk, and that's the first risk. And the second risk is you're trusting the issuer to competently manage the credit facility, to manage it. That is the management team of strategy. I would say it's similar to you bought a note or a credit instrument on a building in Manhattan, and the risk is, will Manhattan sink below the ocean? And if so, you're not going to get your monthly payments. Or will the building manager set the building on fire? Right? And so you've got the risk of the issuer strategy and the risk of the underlying capital asset, and you have to get comfortable with those two risks. The reward is, instead of getting paid 2% after tax, you get paid 10% or 11%, tax deferred. So that's the benefit.